Hey everybody, I think it looks like it's going live. It says live, but it is not doing the countdown clock like it normally does. So I'm going to pull it up on my page and make sure that it is. Pay no attention to the disaster that is my desk. I know I've been slacking off on doing my lives since I did them like every day in February. So I needed like a little bit of break to catch up on some other things. But in the meantime, get this up and going up, and it is on my page, so it should be sending out the notifications to people that I am now live. And just bring it up so I can see any comments.
I think it looks like it's going.
Okay, there we go. So there is a little time delay, so I'm gonna pick up the stuff. I do have extras of the spring summer catalogs. I think I have 4 or 5 of them left. If you're interested in them, let me know. Especially if you're thinking of being a designer, because the designers, obviously, we can go over what that program is. So while I'm working on some things today, I'm going to talk about the Club Couture, the monthly subscription one. So basically like a monthly box that you get every month. And then I'm also going to talk about the designer box. And so this is actually last fall's catalog. And keep this one out as well. Let's see. Put that down there. Okay. Oh, so Club Couture, you get a package like this in the month, every month. You get your chalk transfer, and then you get the little design sheet. And then usually I will email the design sheet directly to you. So for the month of March, if you sign up in March, this is the one for this month, the Wild and Free, which I'm not sure if you can see the one I did on Sunday when we had our team group of this one. And of course, you can always just take out the words and do Wild and Free. I'm thinking of putting that on maybe the front of Mason's shirt. So when he's riding, he can be wild and free. And it comes in the package, and then you can print this out, or I usually send it to people. But it's basically their recipe. So it tells how they did a design, the steps to walk it through, what they used. You get the transfer and the envelope, and you get 3 paste packets. With this month's one, it was guava, sage, and tide. And of course, you don't use the entire paste packet. You end up using just a little portion, even on the big full 8x10 transfer. So that's what comes in Club. It's $19.99 a month, and you get $4.95 shipping on everything. And right now there's a deal for like 3 chalk pastes at 25% off for Club members. That's pretty much it for Club. The Club's really, really simple and easy. Sometimes it's the full sheet. Sometimes, like last month when it was Go Confidently in the Direction of Your Dreams, it was like 3 transfers that you cut down to smaller size. Okay, I'll move that one to the side, let it falling in the water. And this is all still a mess from this weekend. Okay, got my transfer paper. Let's see what we've got. I do have like the Easter and the bunnies. That was when my Club transfer came in. So I pulled out some things that are more Eastery. There's little ones that are like borders, depending on what you're doing. Like I could always like put the wild in here, free in another one. There's just a nice full page border one, which I think I'm going to do tonight. And then this is the St. Patrick's Day one. I'm not going to go over the St. Patrick's Day one too much. I mean, it's the one I did on here, the clover, where you're the best, I'm the luckiest, plus it has a clover in it with a Celtic overlay. These transfers are just ones that I created. Mostly baseball ones and the ones from my nephew's YouTube channel. I keep them to the side. Alright. Oh, much better. I packed up a lot of my stuff and went to Melissa's this weekend to, we did our team thing with Tiffany, Brooke, me, and Melissa. And so I kind of had to pack up all my stuff. So I've got my multi-tool and my detail tool. My little squeegees and tape and stir sticks. I'm just going to drop them back in there. There we go. Now this is a little bag, so I forgot to tell you about that. I did give out a little bag like this with an eraser and a squeegee and a stir stick for in a little tray for anybody that signs up for clubs. So that way with a little water bottle you have everything you need to start, so you can start and go at it. The water bottles that come in it are like this size. And with the paste packets, it doesn't matter if you use distilled water or bottled water. You can use tap water unless you're storing it in a jar. If you're storing it in a jar, you don't want to use tap water because that over time, depending on how often you use it, could develop mold just because of what could possibly be in our tap water. So it's just kind of like better safe than sorry. And I've got my extra little paste here. Oh, some nice Easter. So we did get some nice Easter ribbon too. Dollar Tree is a good place to go because, you know, things are $1, but in other stores, unless you get like something on like clearance in Walmart, you're gonna pay more than $1 for it. And like this is 3 yards worth, so like 27 feet more than I would possibly need for Easter season. So I know I will have that left over. So these are my little accessories. I'll pull these out because these are come in the kit. Designer kit is a $99 box, and it comes with the Aiden board, which is the porcelain magnetic board. I'm going to grab that, so I'll clean it off. This board here. So it's the nicer, fancier magnetic board. And along with that, you get 5 jars of paste. So you always get a shimmer, and you always get white, and then you get 3 more that are seasonal colors. And I'm just going to spray this. Usually to clean the board, I just spray a little water on, let it sit like 10-15 seconds, and then use the eraser. I'll show you the eraser. And this has on it, like you can see the green stuff coming off really quickly. It's already, as soon as the water hits it, it's starting to, you know, mix up and dissolve. Because that's not Couture paste. That's just the cheap little ones from the Dollar Tree chalk markers. They're not even chalk markers really, they're actually like soft chalk. Whereas the chalk markers from Couture are like markers. They're like Sharpies essentially, but they're chalk and erasable. And that's what I did the TGIF with on this part. So let's see how well that erases. And I'm just gonna get my eraser just wet to get started, and then I'm just going to go on and see it's coming right off. So like 10-15 seconds with a little water on it, and it'll be good. If you mistakenly get water on something that you don't want to wash off, just dab it with a paper towel. So like I always use the example of if you have something by your kitchen sink, because a lot of us hang up the pictures in our kitchen. It's just nice, and there's lots of kitchen sayings, coffee sayings, stuff like that. That's what I just wiped off this one. That you just want to dab it. If you dab it, it'll just take the water off without smearing the image. But from on here, you can see there's no ghosting. Ghosting is where you can see the image that you just cleaned off, like in the background. And you don't get that with the Couture boards. And if you get some of the cheaper boards, then that will happen. But as you can see, there you can't see any of the coffee image or anything that I had on it before. All different angles. That's something to watch for when you're watching other videos as well. But I think I'm just going to start off with just a nice flower frame, and then pick some wording for the middle part. I do have the welcome star tile. I do have the bunny rabbit. I do have a happy Easter. I'm not sure what the other one is. I'm just going to tuck those down onto there for now. I'm just going to put the frame in here, figure out what I want to do next. Okay, this is the fuzzing cloth. Like I usually use, it just came in because it was back ordered and it was out of stock. But it's their like official one, but it's the same as a towel. So usually you'll see me use an old used towel or washcloth because it's got that towel material, like French terry stuff. Which is good for fuzzing up the transfers. The other side is, microfiber. It's been a long afternoon. So this is the microfiber side, which is good for when you're drying the transfers, and then you lay them out to dry for the night, or depending on how quickly they dry for you. So I'm going to start by fuzzing up my transfer. And Mason did tell me what he wants in the shirt. He just wants a big YouTube logo for the front of it. So I was working on that image and I just have to print that out for him. Okay, so with these, is just getting it started up by the corner. And the transfer itself is a silk screen transfer, which is pretty thick. Just pulling that back. And then it's got that new smell, which is a good smell. Like when you first open like a package of something new from the store. And I'm just gonna place it down, smooth it out, pull it up. And each time I pull it up, it's basically picking up a little bit of lint from the towel, which is dulling it so that when I put it on here, it won't, I'll be able to get it off. It won't be so sticky that it would be hard to take off. So kind of like a good test is just kind of like go over it. And if you can't slide it off, if it sticks there and you're like fighting it to get it off, then you need to fuzz it some more or you're going to have a really hard time getting it up. So I'm just kind of guessing it's centering it. You can always use a ruler if you want to make it perfectly even. Nobody goes around really in checks. But if you're making projects to sell and stuff, you might want to measure out the boards ahead of time, line things up. So this is going to give us a nice blank space in the middle that we'll be able to put any design we want on. Or I might just do the welcome. That'll probably look pretty cute depending on the colors I use. Let's see. So my new colors I've got are the Shimmer Melon, which is a little bit in the peach color range. I've got the Pistachio, which is like an Eastern kind of green. The Golden Hour, which is like, it's not a bright yellow. Like this is Daffodil, which is a bright yellow. It's more of like a, even has like a little tint of orange in it. It's that spring kind of color. Would probably be good for a sunflower too. And then Tulip, I have, oh no, it's Guava. Where's my Tulip? Here's my Tulip. So Tulip is a weird pinkish kind of red color. It's a little bit like what the Rosewood was, but it's a little different than Guava and stuff. So to be nice and springy with the welcome, anybody have suggestion on color? Hey Melissa! Trying to get back to doing my lives regularly. I laid down for a little bit after work. It was a little stressful at the end of the day. Oh, okay. So I have not, the only color I've used of this, I've only used Tulips so far, so I won't use the Tulip. Got my Golden Hour, Pistachio, and the Shimmer Melon. Shimmers have glitter in them, so obviously when you get, it's really fine glitter, so when you get glitter on something, it's gonna stick around. So it'll still see on the transfer, as long as it's not in the mesh area, it's not gonna hurt anything. It's just glitter's one of those things that once it gets on something, it's there forever pretty much. Unless it's a really cheap glitter that you can get off, but these are really good quality products. So I think I'll do the welcome in the yellow because it'll stand up. And then I think I'm gonna do green because I don't want to deal with the shimmer tonight. I'm just dealing with the glitter tonight. It'll make it easier for cleanup too, especially since I need to do my dishes out in the kitchen too. So I'm going to start off with the green. These are the new chalk paste formulas. So they're not going to require me, they shouldn't require me to really do any stirring. I'll stir it just because I'll probably flip the jars and stuff over in transit. But that one's not too bad. I'm just going to grab a little stir stick. And the only reason I'm using the stir stick is because it's, you know, in transit, it got shifted all around, and just make sure that I don't waste any of the chalk paste. With the new chalk paste formula, they have the sealed for your protection seal. It's a foam seal. So you want to leave it in the lid. That'll help last the little life of it and keep them from potentially drying out. Right. And as you can see, I didn't have to add any water. It's the new formula. Nice and perfectly creamy. Honestly, I could just sit here and play with this because we had some that was, the old formula wasn't as good. So you had to sometimes add water to it. But this is so perfect and creamy. I love it. All right. Okay, So I'm just going to dive in and get my squeegee. And with the flowers and stuff, you could do all different colors. I'm just going to keep it nice and easy and simple. This is also another one that you could do the watercolor effect on. You'll notice when I pull it up, I'll explain that to you. Because once you do the watercolor effect, you pull it up, do a little watercolor, and put it back down and do another layer. That gives your entire design more of just a watercolor kind of feel to it. Oh, it's so nice and creamy. Goes on nice and evenly. So if you've never experienced the old paste formula, I don't know that you'll appreciate how beautiful and creamy it is. Just because you've not had any that ended up drying up on you or anything. So for anybody who's going to be a new designer, it's perfect because the pastes that come in your kit are all the new chalk paste formulas. So you're going to start off on a good foot. The company grew so much so quickly. They moved their production of the chalk paste out from in-house. And there was some quality control issues, so they just moved it back. They redid the formula because they were making small batches at first, and now they've got like 20-something thousand designers. So they need to, provide us with more of supply more often. That they just couldn't handle the production, so they moved it out. But with the issues they had, they moved it back in-house, and with a new formula, it's perfect. So, let's see. So as you can see, I just did the outside. You don't need to do the areas where there's no design. It's just a waste of your chalk paste. And I just put it on and just scraped off any excess, and I'm going to go ahead and pull it up. If you ever, because this fits right to the edge, you can always take a little stir stick or do like a little fold over or something to make sure you can get it up. So I'm pulling the corners up because you want to try to pull the transfer up as evenly as possible. And I'll show you the detail in the design. And I'm just going to put this sticky side up in my water basin. And basically it's just going to react with that chalk paste so it doesn't dry out and it'll just start to come off the design. It'll make it really nice and easy to clean and wipe up when I get done. But if you go over the edge of the transfer, which I did, so you can see here, it gives nice crisp lines for the flowers. With the watercolor, I could actually take a watercolor brush, dip it in any of my chalk paste, and basically color in the flowers with it once it dries. And you can always use a dry tool to speed it up. But I could do all different kinds of colors and then put it back down, go over it again, even with black or something that'll give the flowers a nice outline, or even with green a nice outline. I haven't tried that effect yet, but this is definitely a good one this would definitely be a great one to try it on because you could do so many different colors with the stems and the little extra here, the different kinds of flowers. There's all different kinds. So that one looks like a tulip. But I did go over the edge of the transfer a little bit. All you have to do is just wipe it right off. If it has started to dry, which this one has, give me a second. I'll show you a little trick to do. Luckily, my bathroom's not as far. Q-tip. Q-tip dipped in water. And go right over what you need to go over. And it's just taking it right off. So because this was so close in there, it would have been hard for me to dip my paper towel in the water and get the edge. So that's what I did. And now I'm just going to pull out my other transfer because you can combine the transfers together. I could actually, get a little drop of water on there for my Q-tip. And I'm just dabbing it because I don't want it to smear the flower that I just did. All right. So, I'll go ahead and close my green back up because I'm not going to use that again tonight. Oh, I love how creamy it is. I could play for it for hours. Yeah, the pen I gave you, Melissa, that's one of the watercolor pens. You put distilled water in it on one end. You unscrew it. So it's got a little screw in. Unscrew it, put the distilled water in, put the screw back on, and then take the cap off the pen and just, as long as you push it down there like with chalk markers, it'll activate the water to start coming out. And then you just dip it in your jar chalk paste, whichever one you want, and then just basically color in the lines. And that'll give you a watercolor effect. And you put the original back down and go over it again, and that'll like give you the nice crisp lines on top of anything that you just did with the watercolor with. So this is like a perfect one to do it with. Any of the ones with flowers, even the new Walden free one with the flowers would look great. Yeah, I need to get my drying tool, because if I had my drying tool, I could dry this really quick and then start the watercolor on it. But I was slow on launch day for the drying tool, so the quick dry tool, so I don't have one yet, and it's sold out. But they are getting more quantity, and it's just everything's backed up at the LA shipping docks. So as soon as that comes in, I'll be able to do it, and then we can do the watercolor, because I love it. But you can always Google it and stuff like that, and you can see what people are doing the watercolor if you don't want to wait for me to get my stuff. The welcome transfer this is the welcome tile. So it's got a little tile, and you can actually put this, next to each other and do like an entire board if you wanted to. But I just want to use the welcome part from it for inside this one. And so this is one of the A size, which is what we recommend you start with an A size. There's also the minis, of course, which a lot of times I give these out in my sample kits. And then I have those in my VIP group for a couple bucks as well. So I'm just going to cut the welcome part, because usually there's a line that tells you can cut them apart. You don't have to, but it just makes it easier. And my transfer scissors. So why do I buy the Couture ones? Because everybody else kept raving about them, and I'm like, I could use my little scissors. What's the difference? Scissors are scissors. There's a huge difference. One, they're long. Two, they're coated. So they're designed to go through here, because this is a silkscreen transfer that has the mesh all the way through it. So even in the green parts where you can't see the silkscreen, it's going through there. And what you'll get is like, when you have like an old pair of jeans that start to fray at the end, you will notice in the area that you cut that there could be fraying. This helps stop that. So it's worth it. I know a lot of crafters have their scissors where they have fabric scissors and paper scissors and all different ones. You can get as crazy as you want with your scissors, but those ones are really good. Usually what I use for scissors on everything are like these little sewing scissors, because they're super sharp and my hands are kind of small, so they work perfectly on just about everything. I usually carry them around in my bag, honestly. All right, so I'm going to pull this up and fuzz up my transfer so I can see it's nice and sticky. It's not going anywhere. I just want to pick up a little bit on it so it's not as sticky. And after I wash it, you'll notice it gets all the sticky back. You'll notice when I'm washing it that you'll hear like a little bit of squeaking. Yeah, so once I get my dry tool, Melissa, I'll be able to do a watercolor one. I mean, that could be something that we do as the next group project, because I did buy a pack of like 6 or 7 of the watercolor ones. And I had so much fun on Sunday. Brooke's fun too. I loved playing with her. Okay, so I'm going to do it my golden hour, which is my new springy kind of yellow, which I haven't opened this one yet either. This one doesn't really need anything taken off, so in transit it didn't really get moved around a lot. I'm just going to check it with a stir stick, because this is the first time I've ever used it. And perfectly creamy. Have you ever gotten like perfectly creamy lotion? That's what it's like. It goes on like lotion too. Nice and smooth. All right, so this one I'm going to pull out. So these are the minis. This is a small. Why it's called a small, I have no idea. But it's a small, technically a small squeegee. This is the mini squeegee. And then what you can do is what I do on smaller ones, like for the welcome, is take a mini and cut it in half. You also have on the multi-tool basically one that's the same size as half a mini. And when you're using these and doing it, it actually feels like you're painting with a paintbrush. The detail tool itself has a teeny tiny one, so that's good for like little small ones. But I like this because it's small. I can get a really good grip on it and get what I want. Easy peasy. All right, just get a little bit of my chalk paste. Put it on. Yep, looks like I could use a little bit more. Any excess, don't be afraid to put the chalk paste on it, because any excess you don't use, just put it right back in the jar. So it's not like you're wasting it or anything. Just put it back into the edge of the jar. And you'll notice that the squeegee is angled. I noticed that when I was working with my sister. I knew it was angled, but she didn't. And it's just easier to use the angled side to scrape it up and put it on. You can use either side, whatever you're most comfortable with. I just hadn't thought about it because, I don't know, it just made sense to me. All right, so I'm going to get a little bit on each side, and I'm going to pull from the center of the side just because of the shape of this transfer. And just pull it up, which is a peel and reveal. So we get a nice little welcome. I'm just going to throw it in my water. And take the dry end of my Q-tip and make sure I got that all nice and clean off. There you go. All right. So that was easy and simple. And it looks good. I love the detail that the transfers have. So like, look at all that flower detail. And I could have, when I put it down, I could have easily gone and did the flowers in different chalk paste colors and the leafy stuff in green or brown or orange, or, you know, any little bud colors in purple. Could have really gotten into all different kinds of colors. But I just wanted to keep it nice and simple tonight. So we got our nice and simple welcome sign. There we go. Hi. Don't be afraid to hit like when you're out there watching. I know I have some mystery viewers who like to watch but don't ever say anything. It's okay that you don't say anything, but if you hit like, then I know that you like what I'm doing. You can always hit share to get entered in my drawing that I have every week. You can comment any questions that you have or anything you want to know more about. Because I could easily go into more detail on club stuff, show you the past couple of months examples. I can do things on the designer kit. And our group actually has a deal for anybody who becomes a designer in March. So you would get, you know, once you do get your designer kit and you get 100 PV, so you're like actually being an active designer, you would get a C-size transfer. So let me show you what the C-size transfer is. There's all different ones, of course, but I'll give you a couple examples of what they look like, what you have for options. So, C-size transfer is 12 by 18. These are a couple of the examples. Let me set this here so I don't touch the paste while it's still wet. Right. So, like when I did the Welcome to Our Porch one, Farm Charm, so you can either get like a big one like this C transfer, which is one big one, and of course you can always use the little parts of it. And I can see glitter on this one because I used my glitter paste on it, which is not hurting the transfer at all. It could be one big one like this, or you can get one that has cutouts in it. So this is the Farm Charm one from the Farm Charm collection. And so not only does it say Farm Charm, and sometimes people split up those letters or split up the words, but you get a cute little cow, horse, sheep, pig, with like little different kind of designs in them that just give them a little bit more character. So really it's a C-size transfer, but you've got 5 transfers in here. And you'll cut them apart and use them. A lot of people have been stacking them up. It looks like the horse is standing on the cow, and the sheep is standing on the pig, and the pig standing on the horse. It's just kind of funny. I never would have thought to do that if I hadn't seen them do it, even though it is showing it here. So another C-size transfer is this one, which has even more in it. So this is the You and Me one. Where you can make a sign that's just you and me, and then depending on what you got, and the dog, and the cats, or the cats, and the kids, and chocolate, and tacos. You get a little heart, a paw, a taco, and a little piece of chocolate. So this one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 9, 10, 11 transfers in it. So you can rearrange them however you want. One of the cooler ones, this is the first time I've gotten the truck, is the chalk. It's also a C-size transfer. All of these, like you can see, the designs are very different. Some are more detailed, they cost all the same because they just do the transfers by the size of the transfer. So it doesn't matter what's on the transfer. You're not paying specifically money for certain designs. You're just paying based on the size of the transfer. The truck actually has an overlay, so you can leave it just as is. It's facing both directions, depending on which way you're doing it. There actually is a wood cutout, too, that fits the truck perfectly on it. And then you can give a little more color to the body for the older style truck. I can't wait to do this one because my dad, as everybody knows, has like an old 50-something black truck sitting in the lawn that he loves. So I'll give you a couple more examples of C-size transfers. And pretty much it'll be whatever's in stock for anybody that becomes a designer this month. So this one has got 6 of them in it, and this is actually a leopard print. So these are 2 layers where you've got the leopard and then you layer this color in it so you can get 2 different colors going in the leopard print. So, I mean, you don't have to stick with the traditional. You could do pink, blue, anything you want. Little masks. So like when I did this one, if it was all one big flower and I wanted to add this little square mask into it, here's a little circle one, here's a little circle one, go and do Wild Child. So this one's got 6 transfers in it and a couple that do layers. This one is just another full-size one, which you can see is so detailed with birds and flowers, and you can really get colorful on it, or you can keep it one color. But this is another one that would be great for watercolor. And then here is another one. This one's got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 in it. So it's another one of the farm ones. Home, Good Morning, Sunshine, Rise and Shine, Farm, Sweet Farm. Just a lot of little things that you can use on the little boards. You can use them on houses, anything you want. I mean, it's really up to whatever you like and your style is. So those are just examples of what some of the C-size transfers are. So you can see a variety. It doesn't have to necessarily, you don't need necessarily a 12 by 18 board to do them, because these ones, these all fit on the little chalkboards. Nice and easy. So they're trying to have a C-size transfer even if you're starting out. And I probably would recommend for a new designer these because it's going to give you all these different options. So this could basically be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's like 7 different projects you could probably make with these to show off the different designs. All things you can do with one transfer. And you can mix and match them however you want. But that's something that'd be really good for a good designer. So that you're getting a C-size transfer if you do 100 PV volume, personal volume. And if you are really a designer who's active, 100 is nothing. It's easy. It's very easy to accomplish. And then this is the board that comes in your kit. Okay. Let's see. Not bad. So I do want to try to keep my lives to about a half an hour, depending on who's on and how chatty we get. But stop in and just say hi or something. Right? I'm probably gonna keep my light on and keep working maybe. I do need to clean up my desk. Oh, but I was also gonna show you how to wash the transfer, so I should do that as well, so that I don't get sidetracked and forget, and then turn off my camera and like, oh, I forgot I need to wash my stuff. So I'm gonna get out my little cloth. I'm gonna put these back. Oops. My little kit. So I'll start with my solid transfer first. And I'm just dragging it through the water because it's already starting to come off. It's just chalk paste, so just basically chalk. So you know how easy, anybody that knows how easy it is to wash a chalkboard, it's even easier with this. All right, so just gonna take it and just basically wipe off the chalk paste. As you can see, it's coming nice and clean easily. I'm going to flip it over. It's okay if it gets some on here, which I can see a little bit of yellow from the chalk paste. Go ahead and I'll spray it down. Sometimes with if you can see my bin here, it's starting to get a little bit colorful. So this helps cut down on it. And then you can also use, a wipe. So if you're able to find any wipes or get any wipes, some people use them, some don't. I didn't used to. Sometimes I use them, sometimes I don't. But any kind of disinfecting wipes to wipe it down. And it actually helps speed up the drying process, but it also helps make sure that you've got anything. So when you wash them, the last thing you want to do is do the sticky side. You want to set them out to dry, sticky side up. And I'll just leave that out like that. And then if I remember before bedtime, I'll come over and stick it back on the backer that it came on. Or I'll just do it in the morning and hope that the cats don't jump up here and touch anything. Okay, so I'm going to grab my bigger one, which is a little more challenging. Well, the reason you want to put it in your water bin sticky side up is so it doesn't stick to the bottom. I've had that happen. So learn from my mistakes and don't make the same mistakes that I did. Okay, so as you can see, so it already started to come off this end here. And just move that to the side a little bit so I don't get that one. It's coming right off nice and easy. If you don't have a water bin, I mean, I just picked this cheap one up for $1 at the Dollar Tree, but you can also just take water, spray it on. It can be regular tap water. You don't have to use any kind of special water to clean them. And then just wipe it off. Because as I'm cleaning it, the reason that it gets, some of the chalk paste gets in the towel is I'm pushing it through the mesh screen. So anything that could possibly get stuck in there, you want to make sure you get clean. And then the back side, I'm just going to go ahead and spray it down, wipe it, and then I'll do a little Clorox wipe on it just to help it out. If you have pets, then you may notice that there's a cat hair, dog hair on it because, like glitter, if you have animals, there's going to be inevitably be hair on something. It's kind of one of those unavoidable things. And what I didn't do with my welcome one, which I will go back and do. So if you can hear that it's a little squeaky, that's good. That just tells you that it's sticky. It's getting all the stickiness back. But a lot of times what I would do is hold this up to the light and make sure that I don't see any paste stuck in there. Sometimes like with the little W's, I got like little areas here just to make sure that I was able to get it all clean. If not, just wipe it off again. And then this one has got a lot of flower detail in it, so I'm just going to hold it up and make sure that I can see through all the silk screen, that I don't see any green or anything like green stuck in there. That's the color that I used. The longer that you are taking, so if I did different colors, it takes me longer. That's more likely that it could start to dry and get stuck in there. But it is chalk paste that's water-based, so just water, soaking it in water a little bit, it'll take it right out. I've never had a trouble leaving these in water soaking when I did an hour live or anything like that. And just going to leave these out to dry. The only thing I have left in here are my little stir sticks and squeegees, which a lot of times I'll just run them underwater in the kitchen sink, but since I already got my wipe out here, I'm just going to clean them off and set them on here to dry. And I'll use 2. You will find that the more you do this, the more you're going to want some stir sticks, not as so much, honestly. But you can mix colors, and they're good for mixing colors. So depending on what you get, you know, you might want to make, I didn't order any brown. So in order for me to have brown, I just mix the colors together until I get brown based on what's on the color wheel. And then sometimes you mix colors together and accidentally, like, oh yeah, so you get your yellow and your blue together and you'll end up with some green. So if you don't have green, that's an easy way to make it. Just mix it until it gets the color you want. White is a good thing to have because white, you can basically take any color and just make it a different shade by adding white to it. Same thing with black by making it darker. And you might think, why would I want to use black on a black chalkboard? It actually looks awesome when you do a black on a black chalkboard, or we have whiteboards as well, white on it, because it actually gives it a etching kind of effect. So it looks like it's an etching on it. It just gives this extra dimension, which looks really cool. I just tried it just saying, oh, what will it look like? Like, that's kind of silly, use black on a black chalkboard, but it's really not. It really actually worked out. And I moved my garbage pail. Oh, okay. So I'm just going to put this on here to dry as well, since that's still wet. And as you can see, my eraser's gotten dirty. It doesn't matter. It's not hurting at all. When I rinse it up in water, just make sure when I'm rinsing it, it's just clean, just like a normal just sponge. All right, let's close up my stuff. And I'll be ready. So I am going to try to resume my lives. I'll try to do them almost every night. And I'll try some different times. If on certain days when I'm allowed to work from home, it's easier for me to get on earlier on those nights. So I don't have, you know, the drive home from work and stopping at stores and stuff like that afterwards to pick up stuff. I try to do that on the days that I have to go into the office. All right, so I'm going to sign off for tonight, and everybody have a good Wednesday night. We're halfway through the week, 2 more days to go, and the weather is warming up. We could even potentially hit 60 within the week, which I know for you Southerners, that's cold, but for us, 60 feels like about 80 at this time of year, because usually we're right around 0. And even though it's been in the 50s, I think the 50s today, we still have huge snowbanks. It's just taking time to melt. My poor front lawn is, step on it and you can like sink down in just because the water doesn't have anywhere else to go. So night everybody. Signing off. Please like, comment, share the video, and I will see you next time. Bye.